Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're having a good morning. Um, it's a nice day morning this morning. To the level I'm almost getting a little chilled. Don't need a jacket yet, but it's getting close. Luna, of course, has her own coat. I'm gonna have some coffee, get my morning started here. Luna's got her ball. She chews that quite a bit in the mornings. And then she asked me to throw it to her. And, whoops, it's slimy. Uh, okay. Sometimes she asks me to throw it a lot. Sometimes she asks me to throw a little. It comes and goes. Quick sip of coffee and a good throw for Luna. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the news because I want to talk about something uh, related to the news. Um, Kherson, a area in the Ukraine, was liberated by the Ukrainians this week. They did a huge push and reclaimed a lot of territory. So one of the things that, uh, well, sorry, she really wants a lot of throws today. I took her out and we threw, but evidently, and she stopped. She went inside. So I thought she had gotten a little bit of her throws out of her, but evidently there was more there. All right, now she settled down a little bit. So it was a huge defeat for the Russian army. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fact that the leader of uh, Ukraine, Zelensky, uh, lied. He lied and he persuaded Russia that he was going to put all his eggs into just reclaiming some of the southern territory. Made no overtures, no mention of the northern territory at all. So we got fog of war right now, so we don't have a lot of details about what went on as far as intelligence or decisions or plans or reactions from the Russians. But we do know that for over a month, uh, it really looked like all the Ukrainians were going to do was try to recapture an area in the southern part of Ukraine. And then this other attack happened. The hello, uh, hello, Luna. Can I help you? This is weird because we usually don't let her up on the furniture. I don't know if she heard something or anyway. Yeah, we don't let her up on the couch, any of the chairs in the house or anything like that. So anyway, okay. Um, where was I? Uh, anyway, so uh, he used a little bit of persuasion to persuade Russia to send all their top guys and focus their energies and stuff like that in the southern part. So the other one was kind of a difficult for them to react to the attack up north. So you're like, okay, Glenn, what does this have to do? What is this? What are you get driving at? I want to drive at the fact that there's a lot of people I know in this world that believe politicians as a news source. And that's always been the case, but it seems to be a little more pronounced right now. And there's a lot of concerns about the fact that we have news sources right now that seem to focus in on one political group or the other. So those people watch the news sources that are strictly focused on a news group, and they lose out on the information that the other group has because politicians lie. They it is part of their job to lie. And that's not a bad thing. Zelensky lied that they were not going to go in the northern part. Well, you could say, well, he didn't say they wouldn't, so it wasn't like lying. But the truth is, he was lying. He said it, thought he led everybody to think that he had only focus on that southern part. So now we have. Uh, I'm sorry, I got distracted. I don't know what was going on with my dog. It's it's interesting to try and talk to talk to this and and try to react to her and, uh, and get her ball out when she loses it. Ah, so, but it's not a bad thing. Politicians lying is not a bad thing. We had some really bad inflation numbers in the U.S., and they were bad in two respects. Not only were they high, but they hadn't come down as much as people had hoped they had. So the Fed probably will be raising rates some more. So it was bad. Biden came out and said, "Oh, it looks good. We're doing great. Everything's wonderful." He was lying. That's okay. He shouldn't come if it's he's trying part of what uh presidents and congressmen and senators and stuff like that do is they lie in order to get you to focus on positive things. They want to move you in a direction. Uh, the reason I know a lot about the the lying part is only because I've read books about that were autobiographies, and you would often hear them say, "This is what happened. What do we tell the people? How do we frame that? How do we change that? What do we say about it? What do we add to it or subtract from it for what we tell people happen?" Republicans, Democrats, they all do it. It's not a thing of one side or the other. And it's not because they're being evil. It's not their job to be truthful. It's their job to govern and do things like Lewinsky did, where he probably saved a whole bunch of his troops' lives by getting Russian support away so that he could break into an area instead of slogging through it. He saved Ukrainians. He saved their lives. Biden is trying to have people worry less about what's going on with inflation and be a little more positive about life. So yeah, he's going to say things look good. Things ah, things are looking good. And he actually may believe it because if you're in charge, you don't actually try to look for the bad things in life. You tend to look a little bit more toward positive things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the bad part. And I mentioned it earlier. The politicians are not the bad part. They are not, because that's the way it's been. It's the way it's always been. We have a little bit of history with the word politician being associated with not being truthful. So the problem we have right now is you used to be able to watch. Hello, man, somebody's feisty this morning. Used to be able to watch a show like CBS News or ABC News, and they'd lean a little one way or the other. They they were slight bias toward Democrats or Republicans, or toward uh, negative of both of them, positive for both of them. There's a slight thing, but it wasn't as pervasive as it is right now in a lot of the news areas. A lot of them have just abandoned trying to show the other side. I signed up for a, a news service called Grounded, and the reason I signed up for the service was they sent a thing out saying, well, we try to cover all news sources, and we have something called blind spots. And the blind spot page is this is what people that are leaning left are telling the news, but nobody on the right is saying this news, and vice versa. This is what the right is saying that the left is not. They're blind spots. These are pieces of news that nobody's heard. They haven't even heard them. So I go there, and that way I can kind of see the areas that are blind spots. So I can find the news that's happening, all the news that's actually out there. So that's the negative right now is not the politicians, it's the news services. Now, you could say, well, but you can always watch other news services, but people aren't. They watch one or the other. They either watch all of one or all of another. Then they get those blind spots. You, the, there is a but, Luna. It went under there. There's pluses. There are pluses. We have, I can get that app. I can find out what's on each side through that app. I can access the information from one to another really quickly. And once I know a news source, I know the pros and cons of it, then I know what I get or not get. Oh, good catch. So, summary, politicians lie. They have always done that. Some people call it propaganda, but politicians, government, they tend to lie. They got to get you going in the direction they want you to go. Most of the time, it's not evil. There are samples in the history where you're like, "Ugh, what were they trying to do, those people? They were trying to take advantage of them, or they were trying to mislead them." But most of the time, they are not. They're trying to be positive. I'm going to end on a scary note. Um, we have problems right now with Russia, and Russia does a lot of misinformation to try and affect us. It's been recorded. Uh, they tend to get our uh, political system messed up. A lot of people angry that at things that don't actually happen. They try to find the trolls, make them more legit than they should be. Uh, I think they've caused a lot of splits here in the U.S. in politics, but they have also done things like make our environmentalists a little crazy about things that don't make any sense. One of the things that I really believe is Germany got kind of crazy about shutting down their nuclear power plants, even though they were still burning coal and fossil fuels for energy. And it was the environmentalists that were pushing this, which doesn't make any sense because we got to get rid of those other ones before we get rid of something that doesn't produce any CO2, especially since you already got them running. But I think the Russians helped out there because they wanted everybody to use their natural gas. So why not make them a little crazy about stuff like that? So a lot of times these blind spots make us more susceptible to people that don't have our best interest at heart. Oh my God, look at that. Look at all that hair. Yes, it's fall. As you can tell, my dog is starting to lose her hair. Yes, yes. Somebody needed to brush you, didn't they? Yes, I know. It was my fault. Sorry about that. All right. You guys have a wonderful day. We will talk to you soon. Bye for now.